Hello everyone, and welcome back to the DAC Recap, the show where we recap all things Drexel and Philadelphia sports. I am your host, Luciano Duffy. Be sure to like and subscribe down below. Now, let's jump right into it. The Drexel's women's lacrosse team has continued their winning ways as they picked up 2 more wins last week. On Wednesday, the Dragons took the St. Joseph Hawks to overtime, which they eventually won 13-12. This overtime push was on the back of an 8-3 run for Drexel in the last 30 minutes of play. Colin Grady scored the game-winning goal just 38 seconds into the second overtime period. Carson Harris and Lucy Snydereth pitched in 5 goals apiece in the contest as well. On Saturday, the girls traveled and beat Georgetown 21-9. After a close game in the first half, the Dragons really opened it up in the second half with a 10-0 run. Drexel simply kept the ball on the offensive side most of the game as they outshot the Hoyas 41-25. Carson Harris and Colleen Grady added 7 points apiece, but it was Lucy Schneiderther who led the scoring for the Dragons once again. She was able to find the back of the net 8 times. Schneidereth's play landed her with CAA and IWLCA Player of the Week honors. The Dragons continue their road stretch, with their last stop being at Temple yesterday. On Sunday, they will have their home opener against Villanova. The women's soccer team was able to pick up a win as well as they defeated Villanova 1-0 in overtime. The goal came from a cross from Lauren Curry and a tap-in by redshirt freshman Anna Salvucci. The Dragons outshot the Wildcats 18-8. On Sunday, however, the script was flipped. This time, the Dragons were on the opposite end of a 1-0 matchup. The one goal came early in the second half from a penalty kick. The Dragons return to the pitch tomorrow at noon. They will take on the Wagner Seahawks. On Saturday, they will take on Hofstra at 3. Both games will be home and played at Vitus Field. The men's soccer team suffered their first loss of the season as they were shut out 2-0 against St. Joseph University. The Hawks' first goal came from a penalty kick. Drexel looks to bounce back as they host SJU in their home opener, which occurred yesterday. The men's basketball team wrapped up their season with an 84-78 road victory against James Madison University. Cameron Winter dropped 18 points and dished out 7 assists against the first-seeded Dukes. 4 Dragons hit the 10-point mark, those being Cameron Winter, TJ Bickerstaff, James Butler, and Mate Okris. This was a back-and-forth tight matchup as JMU was able to make it a 2-point game on 3 separate occasions in the second half. But Drexel hung tough and never gave up their lead in the second half. With just 1:07 on the clock, the Dukes made it a 77-75 game. Newcomer Luke House hit a huge 3-pointer to give the Dragons a 5-point cushion that ultimately led to the win. Drexel finishes their COVID-riddled season with a record of 9-7. This was good enough to land them 6th in the CAA. They will take on third-seeded Charleston this weekend in the first round of the CAA tournament. Good luck in the postseason, Dragons. The women's basketball team also wrapped up their season this weekend as they split with JMU. On Saturday, Drexel squeaked by with a 51-48 victory. This win came from the backs of a 17-point comeback for the Dragons. Keshana Washington hit what would be the game-winning layup with 1:11 on the clock. Both Washington and Hannah Nihel combined for 38 of Drexel's 51 total points. In Nihel's 20-point outing, she hit a career-high 5 3-pointers, while Washington had 16 of her 18 points in the second half alone. On Sunday, JMU got the best of Drexel, 61-51. Keshana Washington led the Dragons with 16 points. Mariah Leonard contributed 15 points and grabbed 7 rebounds as well. Drexel shot just 29% from the floor and only made 2 of their 12 fourth quarter field goal attempts. Yikes, those stats are not good. Next for the girls is the CAA tournament, as well as they await seeding and scheduling. The Drexel wrestling team placed 5th in the 2021 EIWA Championship. 6 Dragons earned automatic NCAA bids, while all 10 wrestlers placed at the 2021 Conference Championships. Matt O'Malley, Julian Flores, Luke Nichter, Brian McLaughlin, Eric Barkars, and Parker Kropman all finished high enough to punch their tickets to the NCAA tournament, which will take place from March 18th to March 20th. O'Malley was able to land second on the podium. Nichter was able to add third, while Julian Flores, Brian Laughlin, and Evan Barkars were all able to finish in fourth. Both the men's and women's tennis teams had their matches at Army postponed this weekend. And the field hockey team also had their game postponed. As for the Sixers, they are playing some good basketball heading into the All-Star break. They won 2 of 3 games last week as Joel Embiid continues to show the world why he should be the MVP. Can you tell he got my vote? First, he dropped 23 points with 11 made free throws on Thursday night in a win versus the Mavericks. On Saturday, Embiid scored 42 points and also secured 13 rebounds in a loss against the Cavaliers. Against the Pacers on Monday night, he scored 24 points with 13 rebounds as the Sixers were able to come out with the win. This whole season, Embiid has been playing some of the best ball of his career, which is why he was chosen as a starter in this upcoming NBA All-Star Game. The All-Star Game will take place down in Atlanta on March 7th. Along with Embiid, Ben Simmons was named as an All-Star reserve. Fans and players will have to wait till March 4th before they know who will be playing on which All-Star team. This is because captains LeBron James and Kevin Durant will choose their team backyard football style. At just about the halfway mark of the season, the Sixers sit at 23-12, and they have a slight lead in the Eastern Conference. The Brooklyn Nets aren't too far behind, as they are only a half a game back. This Sixers team has a lot of potential as playoffs continue to lie ahead. The Flyers were able to win the week last week as they built a 3-game winning streak. Their first win came from a thriller with the Rangers as they beat them 3-4. It was a back-and-forth, action-packed game filled with lots of goals as well as some great saves. This game could have easily been 10-9. The scoring was balanced by Shane Gostisbehere, Eric Gasnoff, Kevin Hayes, and James Van Riendijk. Their next 2 wins came against the Sabres as they shut them out twice on their way to back-to-back 3-0 victories. Both Flyers goalies were able to be a brick wall as Elliott picked up the win in the first matchup and Carter Hart played in the second. On Saturday, it was Sean Courier, Shane Gostisbehere, and Scott Lofton who all found the back of the net. On Sunday, it was Sean Courier again. However, this time, he was accompanied by Michael Raffi and Scott Van Riemdijk. It's good to see the Flyer squad back and healthy and on the ice again. It's too bad the NHL made the Flyers play those 2 games understaffed, because I really think they could have won. Coming up for the Flyers, they will play the Penguins in a 3-game road stretch this week. Also, in some very exciting fan news, the Wells Fargo Center will be opening up their stadium to 3,100 fans. Rejoice, Flyers and Sixers fans. We get to get back in the stadium. Now, if anyone wants to, get me some tickets, that'd be great. My birthday just passed, but St. Patrick's Day is coming up, and I'm Irish, so we'll figure something out. And that's all for the DAC recap. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram. Tune in next week for another recap.